You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called Food for Life, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Heather Barrow, who is the host of Food for Life. How are you going, Heather?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ken?
I'm pretty good, thanks for asking. And can you believe it? A year gone.
I can't, actually. This has been, I know people say every year goes fast, but truly, this year has flown by.
You seem to turn around and a month is gone.
Yeah.
And here we are again.
3 weeks to Christmas.
Yeah, I wonder if you, before we get on today's topic, which is surviving the festive season, eating and exercising, when you reflect on 2018, what was the highlight for you?
Oh, I don't really know. I didn't go overseas this year like I normally do. So I don't really know. I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
You
can think about it while we're doing the program.
Okay.
We'll hear you again at the end. The festive season, you know, anyone who's been on a diet is going to say, oh my God, how do I survive this? Tell us about the festive season.
Well,
what do you got for us?
Yeah, I think it's your mindset, really. Like, what are you going to make of it? You know, are you going to let other people stress you out, with all the responsibilities and everything? Or are you just going to actually sit back and say, hey, this is a time, this is Christmas, it's a celebration, it's time for friends, for family, for relax, for some good food, and I'm going to enjoy it. So I think it's right off the bat, what's your perspective?
Sure, exactly. And what should we be doing, though? I mean, I just want to put something to you, by the way, that when people talk about dieting, for instance, and if you sat down and ate a whole bag of chips, you probably can't imagine doing that, but if you ate a whole bag of potato chips, it's only 150 grams. It's not worth worrying about, is it?
I guess not. Hey, everyone has everyone has a day off.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's part of my tips as well, is don't beat yourself up. It is the holidays.
Yeah.
There's going to be foods that surround you that you wouldn't normally eat. Have a little bit and enjoy it, and don't feel guilty.
Yeah, that's right. So talk us through what you might be doing to survive the festive season with your eating program.
Lots of different tips, actually. The first one is there's always a lot of parties.
Yep.
On one day I actually have 4 Christmas parties to go to, and I've turned down one, so I'm going to try and squeeze in 3. But that's a lot of eating. That's a lot of drinks on offer, a lot of platters and nibbles and everything. For one of them, I can actually bring my own food. Mm-hmm. So it's bring a plate. I'm going to bring a plate of healthy nibbles. So whatever you want to eat. If you're worried that if there's going to be unhealthy foods there, bring a plate of, hummus, mixed vegetables,
Yum.
bliss balls, something healthy. Fruit platter, you can have fun with those. So that's my first tip, is plan your own food, bring a healthy plate. If you're going to a party where probably will be unhealthy as well, maybe have a little nibble before you leave.
Yep.
Remember, fiber, really filling. Just have something so you don't go there and, those nibbles come around and it's like, ooh, I'll have, whatever, meatballs or whatever's on little pies or whatever. Easy to overeat those.
I know, but it's such good fun.
It is.
Yeah.
And you could still have some, but if you go there really, really hungry, you might overindulge.
And remember, if you eat a whole box of chocolates, it's only 270 grams.
You're not helping me here, Ken.
But I suppose, yes, you've hit the nail on the head, and particularly if you're hosting a party, and it's so easy just to have little mini pies, little sausage rolls, little dim sims, because everyone loves them anyway. Yeah. But as a host, in this day and age, we almost have an obligation, don't we, to provide a bit of healthy food as well.
Yeah, variety's key, really. Yeah. There'll be people there that might be vegetarians, gluten-free, dairy-free, really popular now. So you can't go wrong with vegetable sticks and hummus. Who can't eat that?
Everyone likes a carrot.
Absolutely.
But of course, I think that sort of stuff, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, of course, I find that sort of stuff boring. But I would eat a carrot. I love radishes and I love spring onions and all that sort of stuff. But I think when you do go to a social event like a Christmas party, that you do expect those other things. And as you have said many, many times, it's not that you can't eat them, you just got to eat them in moderation.
Exactly. You're not just going to eat a vegetable platter when you go to a party.
Of course not.
But if you bring them, at least it's an option. You can have that to start. Get some fiber in, good, nice and filling, and then you're not going to overindulge and stuff yourself on everything else. But you can enjoy everything else too.
Sure. You did mention that. That's a good point that you mentioned, that before you go to the party, make sure you have something healthy to eat. What about that old adage, drink a glass of water before you go, and that makes you feel full. Does that really work or not?
Yeah, it does actually. And most of the time, most people that I see in my clinic are actually dehydrated anyway. So, that can contribute to sluggish energy levels and a whole host of other things. So why not, have down a big glass of water or two before you go. And it's so common over the holidays for people to be dehydrated. Yeah. You're having drinks, and that's another one of my tips is, maybe have one or two drinks and then maybe go to a non-alcoholic drink or have a big glass of water.
Yeah.
Break it up a little bit.
One thing I have noticed over the years, and I'm getting on a bit now, is that if you have a lot of alcohol available at a function and that alcohol is freely available before you start eating, people tend not to eat once they've had a few beers. True. And the more they eat, the more they drink, the less they want to eat. That's not a good idea, is it?
No, it truly does start to deter your appetite the more drinks you have beforehand. So there's another handy tip and another reason why you should have a little nibble before.
Yeah.
Because that's so true. You walk into a party, what would you like to drink? That's the first question. You start drinking, the platters might come out 20 minutes later, and by then it's already gone to your head if you're on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
So.
And before you know it, you're toasted.
Exactly, and you haven't had anything to eat, you're dehydrated, and you feel terrible the next day.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, we've been to those parties, haven't we?
Yes.
Have you really? Okay, so let's just maybe have a bit of a chin wag about some of the foods that we should be choosing. Either one, if we're putting on a party, or two, if we're going to a party, what are some of the foods that we should expect to see there?
Well, we've already really discussed them. I mean, come Christmas parties, there's all sorts of snacks and dips and, biscuits and baked goods and pies and pav and, all the savory stuff.
Yeah.
So the trick is, like I said, fiber, lean protein plus vegetables. Try and avoid the unhealthy fats, the deep fried things, chips, the wedges, battered things.
Yeah.
That's...
I've got a list here in front of me that says some of the foods that you should be eating, and it's vegetable sticks, yummy, oven-baked pita chips, whatever they are, pretzels, rice crackers, rice noodles, baguettes, focaccia or bread rolls, open sandwiches, hummus, small pieces of your favourite cheese, fruit cake, fruit salad. They all sound quite fattening, actually. They're all fattening,
I was going to say, where did this list come from?
That came off my list of festive season survival tips, eating healthy.
Okay, well, I might not agree with all the foods on there, but some of them for sure. The baguettes and the couple other things you mentioned on there. Did you say pretzels?
Pretzels, yeah.
Yeah, people think, that's the whole thing though, people think low fat or no fat is healthy. Pretzels, they're just white refined carbs. I mean, maybe dip it in some hummus and add some fiber to it.
This is the program called Food for Life. Heather Barrow here, and for the last time in 2018, just remind our listeners, Heather, we want to come and see you for some nutritional advice or some ideas on how we can get fit for 2019. Where are you?
I'm located in Taradale, so G's Pharmacy, which is the large pharmacy kind of right in the middle of the Taradale Strip. Right towards the back, you can find me. I also teach fitness classes, so dance aerobics, otherwise known as Zumba, on Monday and Wednesdays in Taradale. So I'd love to have you there.
Like I say, it's the last show for 2018, and in people's mind will not only be Christmas, of course, but New Year's and New Year's resolutions. And I would guess that people are going to say, hey, we want to lose some weight or we want to get fit. So that's probably a good idea to remember what your phone number is and come and see you. Just give us your phone number again.
Sure. I wish I could make it into a jingle.
You could.
It's 027-812-5071.
Why don't you try singing it? Go on.
No.
Okay, today we're talking about festive season survival tips, what we should and shouldn't eat. You want to talk about mindful eating. What's that all about?
Yeah, mindfulness. So, I mean, this is just in general, not just at Christmas, but we all eat on the run, quickly. We're so busy. We're just busy people now. So my tip is to savor the flavor. Sit down, enjoy it. If you go to a host, your family or whatever, look at all the food laid across the table. Just soak in the smells, and taste and chew your food and just enjoy it, even the unhealthy stuff. So also, ask yourself, are you really hungry? Because when I moved to New Zealand, okay, it's different in the States. you all feast, and you feast all day.
Yeah,
like
I know.
food just keeps
It
coming
graze.
out, keeps coming out.
Yeah.
So really ask yourself, am I really hungry? Or maybe I'm just thirsty, or maybe I'm just tired. Do I really need to eat this?
That's a good point. But I wonder what is wrong with grazing like that, rather than just sit down and just fill your plate full of stuff at 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What's wrong with just chilling out during the day? It's coming out every half an hour. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's a bad thing to do all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're not letting your digestive system rest. It's exhausting. It's actually, think of it as a workout. Your body is working every time you eat. There's all sorts of blood and enzymes trying to be produced to go to that food to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing that all the time, after a big meal you get tired, that's because your body's working to break that big meal down.
Yeah.
So give it a little break.
I tell you what, I was forced to not take some of your advice, but I was mindful of your advice. This week I had a bit of strep throat.
Oh.
And of course you still have to eat when you've got a very sore throat. But it meant that I had to chew everything at least 30 or 40 times to sort of mush it up enough so that I could actually swallow it. That is boring. Who's going to eat like that? No one.
Well, people do.
I know
it's
they do.
old-fashioned,
It's
but you
weird.
know what? They had it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you advocate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
30 times. I mean, I would have said with strep throat, maybe have some smoothies or some soft soup. You don't have to chew
Yeah.
that many times. But totally, that's where you control your digestive health. And once it leaves the mouth, it's up to the body and the enzymes and acids to do their job. And you can help it out by chewing well.
Yeah. Is mindful eating just looking at your food, smelling the food, or is it more than that?
I think it's just being in the moment. Yeah, it's looking at it, enjoying it, smelling it, chewing it, even thinking about what it, hey, this is giving me life. This is giving me energy for my body. You might not be thinking that at Christmas time. But
I wonder though, or could it be that if you want to be mindful and you're looking at that big glazed ham and you just can't wait to get a slice off and put it between 2 bits of white bread with real butter on it, that's what you should be thinking. Do I really need that? Is that mindfulness as well, or?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you enjoy that, if you enjoy ham with butter on white toast,
I love that. Yeah.
How's the texture in your mouth? That's what mindfulness is. Just being aware.
Yeah. Do you think if we become more mindful about what we eat, that we will start eating, for want of a better word, we'll start eating right, or?
Possibly, yes, and less for sure, because you actually slow down. You're forced to slow down when you're mindful about eating. And remember, it does take 20 minutes for leptin, the hormone, to signal to the brain that you've had enough to eat. So if we slow down, enjoy the holidays, take in the food, you're not going to overeat as easily.
That's interesting that you say that. I never knew that. So really, is that why we overeat, that it's actually taking 20 minutes for our brain to tell us that we shouldn't be eating those 3 pies, or what are we just eating that?
Next time you sit down, time how quickly it takes you to eat.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, most people finish in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
Even a dinner, which is probably your biggest meal of the day.
So at that point, they don't feel full because their brain hasn't told them that their belly's full.
That's right. And then they go and get another serving, and then they're stuffed.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time.
But you can't resist having something like a little rum ball or something at the end of the night, can you?
Yeah, there's always room for dessert, isn't there?
That's right. You were going to talk about alternative drinks. What did you want to say about that?
Yeah, just alternative drinks. Like, alcohol, there's a lot of calories, obviously, beer and wine, lots of sugars. So just, slow down, bring alternative drink. One of my favorites, and I think we talked about this last year, is kombucha.
Yes.
It's a fermented drink.
Tasty.
I think you even enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it, yeah.
You?
Yeah.
So bring some kombucha, some kefir, some soda water, fresh berries, lemon, lime, mint. You can just make it fun.
Yeah.
And just alternate your drinks a little bit.
I don't drink now, and what I find is that I quite enjoy soda water. And I go and pluck some mint out of my garden, and I squash it up with my fingers and jam it in my drink and put some ice in it. It's yummy.
Beautiful. They now have these drink fusions as well. These little, they're like tea bags, and they're all natural, and you put them in, and it's like a fruity, sweetened drink. There's no sugar to it.
Wow.
And they're delicious as well.
Where do you get those?
I've seen them at New World. They're called infusions, and they're in the drink section.
And that's the other thing is that, when you go to a party or whatever, don't feel pressured to drink.
Exactly.
Say when.
Yep. And I think it also helps to refill, if you've had wine, refill that exact wine glass with the drink that you've brought.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's just the mind. You still feel like you're actually drinking because you're drinking out of your wine glass or beer mug.
And I wonder also, is this just a myth, but smaller plates, smaller glasses, but our brain still thinks we've had a whole plate full. Does that work?
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
My husband's a great example. Okay, when I first met him, he had these really miniature wine glasses, and I thought, what the heck is this?
What
this
a Scrooge.
is so tiny. And he said, but he feels like he's drinking a lot because he fills it up, and in a big wine glass, a red wine glass, it'd probably only be that much.
Yeah.
But he'll only have 2 of those, and it's probably a lot less than someone with a large wine glass would have because you have all that room to fill it up.
Yeah.
And same with plates.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been to some gigs where we have done that on purpose, that we had big plates and people just filled them almost to overflowing, and then they'd go back.
Yes.
And then the next time we had small plates and they filled them to overflowing and they went back, but they didn't go back a third time.
Right.
So they probably got in their 2 plates what they had on their 1 plate. So it does work. It's a psychological thing. It's a funny thing, the mind, isn't it?
Yes. You should do an experiment and have a party and have large plates and smaller, just slightly smaller plates next to it and see which ones go.
Yeah. It'll be the big plates.
Yeah, I bet it would.
I have been to some smorgasbords where you think, go back for seconds, but it's like a mountain. They put everything on.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I don't like buffets.
No.
Because I do love to
overeat.
eat. Believe it or not, I love to eat. I love food, but chances are I will overeat because I love trying a bunch of different things.
Yeah. My favorite thing's chips. I love chips.
That would probably be a weakness of mine. I just can't buy them.
No, because you just eat them.
Because they don't last.
No, they don't. Are you talking potato chips or chip chips?
Oh, I'm talking potato chips.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking hot chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I like the Pringles. Pringles are nice chips. Do you have those?
Sprinkles?
Pringles.
Oh, Pringles.
Yeah.
That's American, isn't it?
They are great. You could eat a whole box of them, no worries, couldn't you?
I grew up, my mom used to buy those a lot.
Yeah.
And yes, you can easily chow through those.
They are absolutely yum. So you're not really a superhuman being after all.
No, I don't eat them now, but I haven't had them in years, actually.
I think you're quite right. You can let yourself go once or twice a year, can't you? So even someone like you who's not obsessed with healthy eating and living a healthy life, but there must be times when you think, gee, I just love a pie. Do you do that?
I'd say probably maybe 2 or 3 times a year I'll have a pie.
Yeah.
And it's often in a situation where I don't actually have any other choice, and I think, why not? I'll just have a pie. Yeah. And I'd say my favorite pie is the chicken camembert pie, if I can ever find it. And I don't feel bad afterwards.
No,
I just enjoy it. I might not feel that great, but I just enjoy it.
Yes, so every once in a while you cut loose, you have some hot chips, you have tomato sauce, you have a bit of batter fresh. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Don't forget, there's always alternatives too. So like fish and chips, go for it crumbed.
Yep.
Like if I get it, I'll get it crumbed. I'll have maybe some kumar fries. Still just as delicious.
Yeah. Okay, we're just about out of time. So what would be your top 3 tips for instance, food for the festive season?
For food, I would say if it's a party where you can bring your own plate, try and bring a healthy platter. Alternate your drinks so you're not constantly drinking. And the biggest tip is don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Enjoy the holidays, enjoy the food, being around friends and family. It only comes once a year. Just enjoy the downtime. You need it. We're too busy nowadays, so
absolutely,
just take some time.
Okay, now on the flip side of that, so we're gonna eat till we're sort of over full. What about exercise? I quite often look out my window on Christmas morning and I see people running, and I say to myself, and if they could hear me, I say, have a day off.
Yeah, I know lots of people like that back home in the States in particular. Yeah, a lot of my friends will get up very early in the morning and work out so they feel not guilty when they eat the big meal later on.
But you shouldn't feel guilty about not having the run, should you?
No. There's always tomorrow, there's the day after, you have plenty of time.
Yeah. What about this? I mean, you'll know the answer to this. I'll just get a quick one on this one for you. I don't like to eat before I run. And I got home late the other night. My wife said, go for a run after your dinner. And I've never run after dinner. Would you recommend running after dinner?
How far?
It's only about 5 or 6 Ks.
No, I mean, how quickly after dinner?
Oh, yeah, so more than once get me out the door straight away.
No.
How long would you give it?
Oh, at least an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, let that food digest and go down. Funny story, very quickly. Thanksgiving in the States, I remember when I was a teen, I was so full and I thought, I brought my running gear, I'm going to go for a run, and my uncle warned me, don't do it. Okay, I was naive. I went for a run. Very shortly after, I was sick.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all that food mixing around.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Last thing you should do.
Let some time.
Look, we'll let you go. Just remind our listeners, we want to get hold of you for some nutritional advice at Food for Life. Where are you?
Sure, I'm at G's Pharmacy in Taradale, so you can call me on 027-812-5071 or email at heather@foodforlife.co.nz. And I just want to say thanks to all my listeners for this past year listening to the show and the wonderful feedback that I've gotten from many of you.
That is great, and we want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in the
Merry Christmas to you and yours too, Ken.
Good on you.